both teams, please get ready for the final. Once again, welcome here to the semifinal between the United States and Japan. On this sixth day of this fantastic event here in Vejle, Denmark. The referees for this match is referee number 1, Kevin Bowie. Referee number 2 is Jaroslav Malic. Game commissioner Brian Walt. Scorekeeper Camilla Engelgren. Timekeeper Jana Slavitskova, 42nd operator Jakob Rosenlund, and penalty timekeeper Ida Kjær Christiansen. Så skal vi byde rigtig hjertelig velkommen til USA. Let's meet the United States, starting with team captain player number 2, Chuck Melton. Team captain number 4, Chuck Aoki. Number 3, Joseph Jackson. Number 4, Adam Scaturo. Number 6, Sarah Adam. Number 9, Eric Newby. Number 10, Joshua Wheeler. Number 11, Lee Fredette. Number 12, Jake Daly. Number 15, Josh O'Neill. Number 20, Elizabeth Dunn. And number 22, Corey Potterbaum. Head coach is Joe Delegray. And assistant coach Mike Klanowski. Also, warm welcome for Japan. Number 21, Yukinobu Ike. Number 1, Hidefumi Wakayama. Number 2, Yuki Nasagawa. Number 3, Kai Kurahashi. Number 4, Masayuki Haga. Number 7, Daisuke Ikesaki. Number 9, Tomoaki Imai. Number 13, Shinichi Shimakawa. Number 14, Shunyai Nakamashi. Number 22, Saya Norimatsu. Number 23, Hitoshi Ogawa. Number 32, Katsaya Hashimoto. Head coach, Kevin Orr. Assistant coach, Hideki Nakatani and Takahide Yoshimori. And now, dear spectators, please get ready for the national anthems. Please rise. And here is the national anthem of the United States. And now the national anthem of Japan. Thank you very much.
Gifts being exchanged, shaking of the hands, high fives and fist bumps. Everybody smiling and happy ahead of this second semi-final at the 2022 Wheelchair Rugby World Championship in Vejle, Denmark. And it's two huge teams. It's the United States, 4 times world champions, going up against the current number ones in the world and the defending champions, Japan. The winners of this will get to take on Australia in Sunday's final. Australia, who have just, well, they got past Denmark. They were 3 clear with 3 minutes to go, and all of a sudden 2 touchdowns, and it was in the balance, but Australia managed to squeeze through. They're in the final, and they will meet the winners of this match, whereas Denmark will face the losers. And there will be a bronze medal up for grabs. I'm Drew Lilly. Alongside me, I have Dave Mengen. This could be a final ahead of the final ahead of the final.
Absolutely. Japan clearly a favorite here as the winner of their pool, and also recently a world championship under their belt. They're the reigning world champions. USA always a contender, looking to knock Japan down quickly, early, trying to make a difference. If they can do it quickly and create some separation, then there'll be a lot more breathing room. They can fight their way up. Japan's key is to keep that ball moving between their high pointers, get across this. USA defense.
The high pointers that they're starting with Shin Shimawaka and Yukinobu Ike, the captain, and they have an embarrassment of riches up front. There's plenty more high pointers that they can bring in there. Daisuke Ikezaki and the youngster Katsuya Hashimoto. Speaking of high pointers, Chuck Aoki, he is part of the starting lineup for the United States. They're going for a more balanced lineup. Japan going 3-3, 1.5, 0.5, whereas United States going 3, 2.5, 1.5, and 1. So that's what Coach Delagrave, who we can see there, has decided to send out against Japan to start off with.
Interesting, the two most experienced players on the court, Aoki and Shimakawa, matched up with each other right there. And Ike taking the jump, look, is dwarfing Josh Wheeler.
The countdown here in the Vejle Spectrum is done and dusted. And the all-important tip-off. As you say, yes, there was a bit of a height difference on that one. Shin fires it forward, beautifully corralled and bounced. How about that? Didn't quite go through all 4 players, but 3 of them. There's the one who didn't touch it, number 22, Seiya Norimatsu. 4 8-minute quarters. Break of 3 minutes between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then at half-time there'll be a good long 10-minute break for everybody to catch their breath. Watch the highlights of the previous semi-final.
Must be a lot different than some of the games I've seen today. I saw called 2 really great matches between Brazil and Switzerland, and then Germany and Colombia.
There's the matches for 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th places. And there will be more placement matches on Sunday, 5th and 6th, 7th and 8th.
USA 4 players in the key. So we'll see Fredette sit a penalty on the sideline.
There he is. He will stay in there for either a minute or until Japan score. And it's more likely to be the latter rather than the former. They will take their time, Japan. But once everybody is set up to defend the next play, we'll get underway again. Fredette asked to be released so that he could inbound. He certainly inbounds well, finds Aoki. They're trying to push him over the line.
Wakayama has his picker, that chair inside his. Can't really go anywhere.
Great pass from Aoki to get it out there, and then he comes up and receives it. So not quite coast to coast yet.
Yeah, Aoki didn't have the corner, but Wheeler able to push Shimakawa across that line to get the penalty try. As you'll see here, great replay.
And fires Josh Wheeler. Excellent reach there.
When Ike leans over, he can get really far out there and into the lap of a player who's got the ball.
He's
really got to protect it.
Tall in his chair, isn't he? And the long reach that he's got.
Not someone to pass over.
So, I think you'd have to throw it that high that it might bounce off the cube. We did ask beforehand if it bounces off the cube, then it's a dead ball. Whoa!
Did that to himself.
He did. He just lost his balance completely, didn't he?
And because he did not call timeout before he hit the floor, that is a turnover.
It is.
You cannot touch the floor with the ball. I mean, your body touch the floor, or your chair, like the frame of your chair.
Yes, he wasn't expecting to be. He wasn't expecting to be hit. He wasn't hit, was he? He just seemed to somehow.
There might have been some incidental contact, but he reached behind himself. And because, as you can see, he has so little back on his chair, he had to lean his weight back, and he went over.
Yep, that was...
And Wheeler tried to stop. He obviously didn't want to hit him, but Ike did land on his chair a bit.
Long and the short of it is, USA has a turnover, and USA has the lead.
Early victory for the Americans.
You'll take any victory you can get against the #1 team in the world and the defending champions.
Absolutely. Japan has played great all week. They had a scare with Denmark. Denmark has played great against everyone.
They've scared a lot of people, and they've wowed a lot of people here at the Spectrum in Vejle and around the country, where this has been broadcast on national TV and also around the world. So thank you to all of you watching on the stream, and I'm sure you've enjoyed watching Denmark.
I actually got to watch them on national television in my room last night. Pretty interesting to see.
And was the commentary almost as good as ours?
I don't know, I couldn't understand it.
But it sounded fun.
They don't get quite as animated as we do.
Landed over the top, and we are going to have a second turnover. Well, at 6s and 7s at the moment, Japan, and...
Hit the back of Wakayama, that pass from Shimakawa. Didn't make it to Ike, which is where he was going with it. Wakayama's so small there, he might not have even seen that player.
Well, Japan winning the tip-off, so they had... it means that USA, as things stand, will have possession at the start of the second quarter. And if they can continue to maintain possession and score tries, then they will have at least a 2-point lead.
That's certainly what they're hoping to do to start off, is get a little bit of clearance between their score and Japan's.
Once again, he's gone over.
Called timeout. Contact there with Aoki and Fredette. We'll watch this here. And he was just hung up with Fredette's wheel.
You can see his teammate as well, Shin, the number 13, calling timeout to make sure that they're, well, once bitten, twice shy.
Shimakawa, wily veteran, playing in this league for a long time. Looks like Ike.
The wily veteran has done his job, so they've taken him off. Kevin Orr's taken him off, and Daisuke Ikizaki has come on.
Ikizaki, the MVP of the last World Championship in Australia.
Homebush Stadium in Sydney, as we see Joe Jackson with the inbounds. And Corey Pudabar, the number 22, who's come on.
Oki almost got stuck at the line there. Ike in his face now, trying to make sure he can't get it out. Has to go to Fredette. The hope there on that play when he goes to Fredette is that people will leave him. That's why Fredette gives it right back. And it did create enough space that he was able to get out of that pile, which is what he was looking for.
So Japan, 2 points adrift. Not often you get to say that, particularly in such early going.
Oh, it's early enough. They're not worried about that. Obviously, they want to chip their way back, but still got 28 minutes of rugby to play.
At least. Who knows, these two could be so evenly matched that after the 4 8-minute quarters, we go to overtime. 3 minutes it would be. And if they're still level after that, we'll keep going and keep going.
What a bonus that would be.
Well, this is the last match of the day. It's a mere 5 o'clock local time. Let's just keep playing all night.
Careful what you wish for.
I didn't say we'd keep commentating all night.
I've played a couple of 4 overtime games, and they're
4 overtimes.
It is brutal.
Yeah.
It's so satisfying when you win.
I had a judo bout that was a final, and it was meant to be 3 minutes, and then it went into golden point, and it went into the 13th minute. So that was 10 minutes of overtime after a 3-minute bout. Ikizaki cruises through, taking care of business at the moment. Combination they like. Ike Yukinobu to Daisuke Ikizaki.
Budarel has to call a timeout there. He was being pushed across that line.
So each team has taken 1 of their 4 timeouts. Those of you not particularly au fait with the rules and the tactics, then the timeouts. 4 timeouts available for the players to take, and you can see the timeout sign there. Kevin Orr, the Japan coach, delighted that he's made USA burn a timeout. Tend to use the timeouts to reset the possession clock, or if you don't think you're going to be able to get the ball over the halfway line within 12 seconds of the inbound being taken, or if you're going to go out of bounds, perhaps. So it's a way of making sure you don't lose possession. Only got the 4 of them, unless we go to overtime, in which there'll be another one on either side.
And those 30-second timeouts are not the only timeout we have, right? We have the coach's timeout as well, which is twice as long, but you can only call it on a dead ball, when the ball is out of bounds. So you can't use it to save yourself from trouble. You can use it to change momentum, you can use it to make substitutions, and you can use it to just calm your squad down.
Yeah, substitution only when there's a dead ball as well, so not after tries.
Not like hockey.
Too many men on the ice. Just gets over the halfway line and just finds its intended target.
O'Neill up
a lot of work to do. Fredette and Imai locked up. They're going to try and push Aoki over the line, but he's having none of it. You can see the possession clock down to 7. Can he creep in at the corner? It's a
Wheeler
penalty
was
try.
close to that line. He was doing a good job making sure he got into the corner, but across that active try line, you give up the try.
Aoki fires that forward. Wheeler wheels over.
He's had a good tournament.
Both Joshes, I'd say, have had good tournaments. Josh Wheeler, Josh O'Neill.
Yeah.
Yes, at some point there will be the end of tournament presentations. I say at some point, it'll be about this time tomorrow, and there'll be the best player for each category, and Josh O'Neill 1.5. He's probably as good value as you'll find for a 1.5 in the tournament, alongside with the likes of Cédric Nankin of France, who is an excellent 1.5er.
He is lights out this tournament. He's, I think he's head and shoulders above all the other candidates at that point. He's really just made such a difference for his team. And other than the Denmark game, France has been phenomenal. Actually, they were phenomenal in that game too. Denmark just a little bit better.
Yes, Denmark with a great 1.5er as well, who I always think it must be classified 2, but Kåre Mormon Nielsen.
Oh, yeah.
He's a wonderful 1.5. For those of you, again, apologies for those of you who watch the sport week in, week out, play it, coach it, but there are plenty of people who will be watching this for the first time, so you have the various classifications from 0.5, the lowest level of function, to 3.5 towards the top. And you're allowed 8 points on the court at any one time, unless you have a female player, in which case you get a bonus of 0.5 for every female player.
And we're seeing that here. Furuhashi, number 3, allows the 3-3-2 line for Japan. And now Japan a man down. It's Haga. The deuce in this lineup. Like they're fixing his feet inside that footrest. And he will inbound. Oh, we got a clock problem, I believe. Referee's looking up at the cube. Somebody being called to the table here. Table officials are trying to sort this out.
Just see them at the bottom of your screen.
Oh, they're calling in reinforcements. So if this takes much longer, they'll send teams to their benches.
USA with the 1-point lead, 2-point lead rather. It was coming up as 10-9, but it's 11-9. Those 2 early turnovers. One of them when the captain, Ike Yukinobu, ended up
turnover.
Deck. And here, speaking of turnovers,
Wheeler's trying to get back to Aoki. Strong in that key. And a held ball.
A held ball, much along the lines of basketball, so it's half a turnover.
Ikizaki got in there on Wheeler. Aoki put it in his lap, tried to help him push across the line, and Ikizaki got the jump.
So a mere 13 seconds in which to score. And it is enough when you hand it off to Chuck Aoki. So it is a 3-point lead after a turnover, half a turnover back with a held ball, which means that the next, shenanigans is the next one. Okay, so they're calling plays now. They can't shout them out because it's difficult, particularly when you're playing Denmark and there are so many fans in here. It's difficult for players to communicate and hear. So we've seen Windex, we've seen New York Yankees, and now we've got shenanigans.
Josh Wheeler held up in the back court there. Ikizaki.
Now with all the stopping and starting, the turnovers, the excitement, we've got all the way into the final minute. So this is when teams are going to start to look at scoring at certain times, maintaining possession, depriving the opposition of the ball, scoring and not giving your opponents time to score. For Japan, though, they are 3 points down. The main thing for them is to get some points on the board.
Ike having a lot of trouble getting that ball out of there, even though he's a foot taller than anyone else. At least
3 men on him, looking like the Statue of Liberty, but with 3 around him. And again, he's going to struggle. 3 seconds to go. It's going to have to be a timeout, which he calls with 0.2 left on the clock.
Wow. USA tripling him. Just trying to keep him from moving around with that ball,
and it worked.
It did work.
It's at the very least, it's got them to burn a timeout. and, well, there's 15 seconds to go, so Japan, if they score, Statue of Liberty again, if they score, they've taken all the time off the clock, and it will have worked perfectly. If they don't score, but they will, and...
Did not score.
Wow. Ikizaki was right on the line, tried to take two, tried to be too cute.
Well, as Yoda would say, do or not do, there is no try.
It's the Get It Done League, it's not the Try League. And it's certainly not the try that they wanted there.
And that was just a little mental error. He waited to the last second, and actually O'Neill hit him just before he was going to try and go, and it turned his chair enough that he wasn't able to get across the line. So really heads-up play there by O'Neill.
So at the end of the first quarter, 13-10 to USA. Turnovers and errors left, right and centre, comparatively speaking, for Japan. This isn't the kind of performance you expect from the team ranked ¡1 in the world.
No, it's a cold start for sure. Kevin Orr is going to have a few words for his players.
A few hot words.
I see him shaking his head over there. But, you know, his players, they know how to play rugby. He's not teaching them how to play rugby. He's getting them together and helping them choose a strategy and execute that strategy and stay on, you know, if they make a plan, everybody has to be on the plan or the plan's not going to work. There's the jump, or the held ball. And that was a pickup of the loose ball by O'Neill. O'Neill's had a really good quarter.
Brilliant pickup. Singing the praises of the 1.5 earlier.
What a grab.
What a grab, great grab. They ended up using a timeout and not converting it. So things not going according to plan for Japan. And if you look at these statistics, Japan with 4 turnovers in the first quarter.
And they really
last time we saw them have 4 turnovers in any quarter.
I can't even think of one. But that's what Kevin Orr is going to be nuts about, is he could have scored that try, and he was a little bit too greedy on trying to whittle down the clock. Of course, the threat always being that when you're playing anyone at this top 4 teams, they can get down the court in a fraction of a second if they get the right pass off. So you want to leave as little time as possible. You
do, because the inbound only starts the clock again once it is touched by a player or a chair. So you can inbound it almost the full 28 meters if you've got the right person inbounding it. But
Chuck Aoki's mom on the screen.
There we go. But yes, it was been a little bit too cute there from Ikizaki. It's like when you're going to take a train. It's better to be a minute early than a second late, or 10 minutes early than 10 seconds late, because if you're 10 seconds late, it's gone. 30 seconds remaining in this break after the first quarter. You can see there on the cube that both teams have 2 timeouts left. Getting a sleeve up on Aoki.
So they use what is affectionately termed as boob glue. You know, there's it's a roll-on adhesive that is used for keeping maybe dresses up that don't have anything to hold them up, and we use those on our sleeves as well, so the sleeves don't slide down.
You got out of that very well. I was going to let you get down that blind alley all on your own. I wasn't going to drag you out of it. I wasn't going to run a screen on that one, but you managed to get over the try line all on your own.
I felt the thorns as I tried to work my way down that path.
Second half gets underway. Japan, well, gets over the line. They had possession after the held ball, and it was USA's possession. So that meant the next possession that was contested, as it were, would go the way of Japan. So they got to inbound as Adam Scuturo is barking out instructions there. O'Neill onto the end of that one. Inbound is stolen. What is going wrong for Japan? The inbound there from Nakamachi. It was to Aoki, who isn't the tallest. It's just all going wrong for Japan at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately, those turnovers can come in a flood. And if you don't do something to stop it, you can get out of control really quickly.
Well, he was inbounding there to Ike Yukinobu, and you can afford to throw it about a foot higher than you would to anyone else.
Especially with Aoki in front of you because he's so low in his chair.
It's a 4-point game, and we are barely a minute into the second half.
DK having trouble.
Gets it out in the end, but made to work for it every step of the way by Aoki. You can still hear, or even when he's off camera, you can still hear the work, work, work. Vejle barges over.
Not nearly as quiet and reserved as the Great Britain bench.
Yes, that's why we don't have, one of the reasons why we don't have the huddles mic'd up as coaches' timeouts, and particularly the breaks in between the quarters.
Well, I think that's the exception. I haven't seen their bench that animated.
It was about the only time the bench has been animated. They were, I think, 6 down against USA in the final group match. And it's usually a lot of red that you can see in the spectrum, but the air turned blue.
Even the volunteer shirts are red to help with that color change when Denmark comes into the arena. Oh, Ikezaki right on that line. Because he didn't actually cross it, he's on it, but he didn't cross it. They couldn't say he went into the front court because the front court is after that line. That's why he was able to sit on top of that line and not get a turnover.
Over and back, yes. He wasn't yet over and therefore couldn't go over and back. It's like basketball, the front court violation. Ikezaki round the outside, has to make sure he remains in bounds. Court's 28 meters long, 15 wide. Aoki with 10 seconds to inbound, and Fredette gives him a little bit of work to do. Now he has to get it over the halfway line before it says 28 on the possession clock. Still a 4-try deficit. If anyone can turn it round, it's Japan, but you wouldn't expect them to have dug themselves such a hole.
No, and they took the bronze medal at the last Paralympics at home in Tokyo.
Defeating Australia.
They certainly do not want to be playing for a bronze tomorrow, but neither does USA. And right now, USA making their case.
USA with a medal at every World Championships thus far. Bronze the last twice, in Odense 8 years ago, Sydney 4 years ago. It's been 12 years since they won it. But on current form, you wouldn't back against them.
They seem to have improved as they've gone forward. Some of their earlier games, I'm sure they'd like to have back some of their play, but they were able to execute at least against Great Britain to get them into the round of 8.
Yes, the great thing here is that this year 12 countries, as has been the case before, but instead of just the top 2 in each group going into the semi-finals, you had the top 4 in each pool going through to the quarters. So you could afford to lose the odd game here and there. USA losing to France.
Denmark, a perfect example, right? They ended up being 4th in their pool, beat the 1 seed out France.
Yes, France unbeaten, get into the quarters and lose. Denmark finish 4th, and then with a crowd behind them.
Playing for a medal tomorrow.
They are indeed. They will face the loser of this match.
Regardless, this will be their best finish ever in a World Championship.
It will. USA looking to avoid their worst finish. As I say, they've always medalled. Crash and bash there. Shin is back on. Shinichi Shimakawa, the number 13.
He's definitely one of the elder statesmen in this entire tournament.
47 years old, Shimakawa.
Still hits very hard. And quick.
Ikizaki gives the come hither to his partner in crime, Shimakawa.
They did a nice job there making it so that they ended up 2-on-1 coming down the court. Whole lot of back and forth there, but once you're ready to start going uphill or downhill, depends on how you look at it, you want to have that advantage.
Jackson inbounds to Aoki, who spins this way and that, and fires one over the top, which Pudabar will pick up and convert.
Pudabar came back and made a little crack block to try and help Aoki get out, and then he bounced off that and went deep, offering the pass option.
Ikizaki fires that one out, but guess what? It's another turnover. And Aoki converts it, barging his way through with the momentum that he'd taken up, A, from the backcourt, and B, from the fact that it was yet another turnover. 15 tries, 7 pass assists, 3 steals. His mother must be proud.
She's right there in the stands, I'm sure she is. Great lady. And that's Coach Kevin Orr calling a timeout.
Well, we were saying earlier the fact that in the group stages, 4 went through to the quarterfinals, so you could afford to have an off day and still make it through to the quarters. From Friday onwards, you can't afford to have an off day, and Japan seem to have had an off day. They've timed it badly. They've still got a lot of time to turn this around, but they're out of sorts at the moment.
Yeah, they looked solid yesterday, so to see them come out cold, it's kind of a surprise. But USA just seems to be firing on all cylinders, creating turnovers, protecting the ball. They haven't turned it over once, not once, and we're more than halfway through the second.
Denmark were on 0 turnovers well into the 3rd quarter of their semi-final against Australia, and it had all been done on possession management, time management. There was nothing between them as Japan tried to give another ball away. And then there were a few turnovers towards the end. Possession clock down to 15, as you can see in the middle of your screen. Shin's going to take a good run at it. Not going to get through. And it ended up being excellent work from Kei Kurahashi, the low pointer number 3, to enable Shin to get through.
Shimakawa also, when he lifted that ball up to throw the pass, he saw the defense pull away and open up that corner for him. Sometimes that's all it takes, because they're trying to make that interception, so they got to back up and stick their hands up.
Play action fake. Japan boxed in again. Shin fires it forward. Lands in the lap. Ooh. Not quite the lap of the gods, but the lap of Haga, who hadn't got the wheels to get over the line. A two-pointer.
That legal spin, courtesy of Josh Wheeler.
Again, that possession clock's down to 15. Bit of a reach around from Aoki, so the try is given. Into the last 2 minutes, so the USA are going to start looking at timestamps, when to score, how long to take.
USA being very patient. Not pushing hard on offense because they're saving their energy for their defense, which is working really well for them. I mean, not all those 6 turnovers by Japan are forced errors, but many of them are. Again, knocked down.
And Aoki's going to win the wheel race, pick it up, and to the delight of a lot of the crowd, particularly this contingent.
He made that happen here. Oh, it looks like Fredette might have got a piece of the ball as he was trying to lift it up.
Excellent teamwork, whatever's happening. A 6-point game. You expect Japan to be in 6-point games, but usually on the other end of the scoreline. Go Japan, it looks a little bit forlorn at the moment.
I'm definitely not used to seeing them struggle like this in this tournament. And they've played some tough competition. I don't think when they played Denmark they had this many turnovers at all.
No, they certainly weren't 6 points adrift. They could have lost it to Denmark in the last minute of the fourth and also in the last minute of overtime, but the Danes maybe didn't quite have the composure that they needed, but it was only ever a 1 or 2 try deficit. So Japan 6 adrift, 18 seconds left on the possession clock. Boxed in over the top to the tall figure of the captain. Once again, they need to score. You can hear the countdown in Japanese to help them. Timeout's going to be called with 0.8 to go, as they did at the end of the first quarter. That will reset the possession clock to 15 seconds, and there are 18 seconds left in the quarter. Now, they need to convert it this time.
Yes, they do. And I think this is a good timeout, because if they can execute here, they need that try to get back into this game.
USA are calling Windex. They've called it before, but I can't remember what it meant. Wipe the floor with them.
Squeaky clean defense.
That's the one. They've done it because that was too long. Pudabar loves it.
And USA still has time here. They have 3.2 seconds because the 40-second clock expired.
You know what trumps everything? Points on the board.
Absolutely.
And points on the board, that's what USA have got at the moment. They lead 29-23 going into halftime. They won the first period by 3, 13-10, the second by 3, 16-13. They have got Japan on the ropes. You don't get to say that very often.
No. And the difference is turnovers 8-0.
Well, they seem to have their composure out there, Japan. as they talk amongst themselves, but the composure is something that has been lacking, particularly in the key towards the end of the first and the second quarter. We're going to see some of the highlights, but it's probably low lights for Japan. It's not as if they've gone out there and taken USA lightly and said, well, we'll give everyone a bit of game time, we'll send the kid out there, Hashimoto, the 20-year-old. We haven't seen him. We've had Ikizaki, Yukinobu, Shimakawa, 44, 42 and 47 years old, respectively, and yet in their prime, and that's the kind of thing we've been seeing. Ike Yukinobu not looking for that one. Chuck Aoki, though, take nothing away from him. He has been a one-man wrecking ball. Here are the statistics from the second quarter. 4 turnovers.
Yeah, 4 in each quarter.
0 for USA.
You can't turn it over 8 times and not create any turnovers on your own and think you're going to be in the game.
Well, another statistic to look at is the one that's on the cube up there that says 8 minutes to go in the big break. I think Japan need a reset. Those of you watching the USA, you probably need to go and have some chamomile tea just to calm yourselves down and think, well, or maybe you don't want to pop the champagne corks just yet. Either way, enjoy a break, and we will be back in just under 8 minutes' time. 90 seconds of the break to go. I don't know if the stadium DJ is trying to motivate USA, playing Ramalama Ding Dong. Coach Delagrave used to be in a covers band, apparently. Did he play Ramalama Ding Dong in his covers band?
He told me that they were like 90s grunge type of songs that they covered.
Right, so smells more like Teen Spirit than Ramalama Ding Dong.
Chuck Aoki also has a master's degree.
In cover versions of songs, or?
No, I don't think so. I don't know what it's in. It doesn't say.
No. Well, Japan need a master's degree in sports psychology, in coming from behind, in turning it around in the second half. They have a 6-try deficit. As you can see, they also only have 1 timeout left, and they're going for the youth. Katsuya Hashimoto of the Tohoku Stormers made his debut as a 17-year-old for the national team, and he is coming on up front. We've also got Hitoshi Ogawa.
USA sticking with their starting line.
USA with possession and with a 6-try lead, and with the prospect of making it through to tomorrow's final, just 16 minutes of rugby away. And with the ball in the hands of Chuck Aoki, what more could they want?
It's certainly been effective for them today.
Yet another try for him. 7 pass assists, 20 tries, 4 steals.
That one on the ground.
Wow, that was this isn't the Japan I'm used to seeing.
Well, you got to wonder if some of this is just confidence being crushed by the weight of this 6-try deficit.
That was oh so close there to being another turnover. Josh Fredette couldn't quite reel it in. But USA haven't looked like committing a turnover. I hope I'm not cursing them here, the old commentator's curse, but they haven't been any ones where you think, oh, they had the luck of the draw, the rub of the green, the right bounce. They've just been solid.
It's incredibly rare to play a game of this caliber and go turnover free for the whole match.
They've done it for a half.
Certainly have.
They've done it for a minute of the third quarter already. Aoki stuck in the key, fires that one forward. They need to get it over the halfway line, and they do.
Wow.
Even when they're in trouble, they look calm.
And they were out of time.
Well, Japan asked not for whom the bell tolls. It's tolling for you at the moment. A 7-try deficit.
Oh, Ikizaki popped his own tire on the picker of Josh O'Neill. Went in there hard. He hit him straight in the picker with his tire. I don't know if O'Neill adjusted a little bit so that he could hit that tire, or if Ikizaki just misjudged it. Because he'd rather hit it with his frame and pop through there.
See Aoki bouncing the ball there because you have to bounce it every 10 seconds. The youngster Hashimoto.
He's going to be a great player.
Once he reaches his prime in about 25 years' time.
Well, if you look at the age of the rest of the Japanese players, you might say that, but yeah, he's definitely coming along. Obviously, they're trying to develop some new players so that when...
They've got him early as well, as opposed to getting a wheelchair basketball player late on in their careers. And So 1 in the bin for USA. Hashimoto takes his time, waits for the trap to be set.
And the bait taken. Wheeler with that give and go, but again, back in the hands of Aoki.
Beautiful. Aoki to Wheeler. Japan down, not quite out yet.
Not free falling this time.
No, they obviously don't want to encourage the Americans anymore by playing Tom Petty's free falling, so we have tub thumping by Chumbawamba. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Maybe we need a few J-pop anthems to try to inspire Japan. They need some sort of inspiration.
They definitely need to get back up again.
They do.
Puderbaugh bounced across the line. Cordy. Ugh.
That's easy for
Puderbaugh
you to
also
say.
has a sports pilot's license.
There we go.
One of those little tidbits they gave us. USA more forthcoming than most other teams as far as that kind of thing.
Sarah Adam on the sideline. We saw a lot of her in the group match against GB. She's a three-pointer and allows the team to play an extra 0.5.
And also a huge fan of Friends.
There we go. Who isn't?
Well, she says she's watched all 10 seasons more than 10 times.
Well, there are only 10 seasons. I had the impression there were more.
10?
Yep. More than 10 times. Okay, right.
We just did a Warner Brothers studio tour, and they have a lot of Friends things.
Well, I flew here from Sydney, and the total flying time was something like 36 hours, and I'd gone through all the movies I wanted to watch and hadn't already watched, and I ended up watching a couple of episodes of Friends towards the end, and unfortunately, same airlines on the way back. I've got nothing left. I've got nothing left to give.
Cross the month barrier where they give you new stuff.
Exactly, and that's what I thought, and nah.
You would get different movies
No dice.
going west as opposed to when you went east.
Exactly.
That's not true anymore.
Well, different movie. There's only
that's
one,
true.
and it was on a
One or
TV
two,
screen.
right, depending on how long your flight was.
Exactly. Kids, if you don't know what we're talking about at home, ask your parents or your grandparents.
Ask them what that little space on the armrest was for that has a little lid, too.
Exactly, yes, I was just thinking that. Well, that was as near as USA have got to turning the ball over. And Puderbaugh gets the ball over the halfway line with 28 on the possession clock. Scoots home. Sarah Adam, cheerleader today. Chuck Melton as well. We've had two Joshes, but not two Chucks.
Japan doing much better in this quarter. They haven't made a turnover yet. That's a huge step in the right direction. But they also haven't created one. Of course, now that I said that.
Shin back on, as is the captain, who is at the far end of the key, now in the middle. And he's going to pick that one out, and he isn't. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the commentator's curse, courtesy of Dave Menjit. You did that deliberately, didn't you?
No.
I'm going to tell Kevin Orr what you
Accolades.
just did.
I wanted to give them some positive feedback on the improvements that they've made since the first half. And one, he'd like to have that back, but there's still 12 minutes and 19 seconds of rugby.
Timeout called.
Current trend doesn't give us the impression that we'll go to overtime.
Certainly doesn't. 7 tries to the good USA at the moment. Coach Delagrave making sure that they maintain their focus.
This is an important tournament for USA with the new coaching, new staff. And they want to make a statement. They've made a cultural change on the team, trying to change the way they do things, and Coach Delagrave trying to make a name for himself and prove that he deserves this job. Of course, he's done so as a player.
Someone else proving that they are worthy of the job as a player, Chuck Aoki. To the delight of the fans here. The entourage at the Vejle Spectrum. We're going to have another turnover. Can they get it over the halfway line? Just.
So he tossed it over there so it would touch something across the line, and then he went to chase it. Got a little bit hung up there on this chair of Wheeler, but he got it done.
Shove in the back there for Wheeler. But he shrugs it off. Shrugs off the attentions of Shimakawa. Incredible balance from the players.
DK fights his way through. Well done. Protect the ball.
That makes 11 tries for him, 10 to Ikazaki, and that makes 21. Aoki has 22 all on his own, and then you go to 8 for Wheeler, 4 for O'Neill, 3 for Pudabar.
That can't be right. Has Japan had 8 equipment timeouts?
A few early on.
Oh, they count the being upside down as an equipment as well. That's part of what that comes from. Had a lot of players on the floor.
They have. Captain Yukinobu in the first couple of minutes seemed to be on the deck most of the time, one of which was the first turnover. Make that 23 for Aoki.
Taking away that give and go.
Shimakawa finds himself surrounded by 4 white jerseys, picks out his captain, but the job's not yet done. There it is.
Great corner there. 22 Norimatsu sealed the American players on the far side of the key so that PK could come around.
Hey, rolls over the line on one wheel, maintains his balance.
Adding a little drama.
Gets back to do his defensive work.
DK trying to get around that corner, having trouble. And timeout called. That's Japan's last timeout. Aoki getting that arm out there, try and get him some weight distribution to keep him from going over all the way.
Yes, there's not a lot of him to distribute, but he rode that perfectly. So Japan all out of timeouts.
And making several substitutions here. Ikazaki back on the floor. It's the high-low. And Wheeler
forced out.
Leaving the court.
Not a crowded real estate there, but who can you expect to creep out of it unbeknownst to the rest? Chuck Aoki.
Wakayama, number 1. At center court, working his way back.
Aoki leaning back there. Obviously, there was a plan that didn't go as expected. Equipment again for Daisuke Ikezaki.
Sometimes it's fun to sit on the other side and just watch the coach's reactions to things. There's your little dribble tossed across half court and chased down.
Bit of backspin on it so he can pick it up himself. Into the last 2 minutes of the third quarter. Even when it's corralled, they're making heavy weather of it, or they're being made to labor by the ferocious play from USA.
They're not making anything easy for Japan. As you said. Aoki needs to be careful there that he doesn't end up partway out. Go out and in. That sounds like Ikezaki's tire. Fredette came in, hit him, and...
At least they're leading in one category, and that is equipment changes.
Equipment timeouts.
Yeah, that's small mercies, little small victories. Get them where you can.
Coach Orr is going to feel like that's a victory.
I'm not going to go down and tell him that.
I'm sure he'll see the statistics. Actually, most of the teams keep their own statistics. They want to track trends. They want to know who's turning the ball over.
Well, if they want to know when they're turning the ball over, it's A, with alarming regularity, and B, at the end of each quarter. We have 80 seconds to go. Japan will be looking not to make the mistake they made earlier. They can't do it via a timeout because they used timeouts at the end of the first and second quarters and ended up not scoring. They have no timeouts left. Ikezaki ushers O'Neal over the line, purely to get the ball back in their own hands. Could be many sports where you make your opponent score.
No.
Just about reeled in there. It was an excellent effort by Hidefumi Wakayama. The captain gave him a little bit to do. So 49.9 seconds. USA, are they going to try to run as much time as possible off the clock? The main thing for them is to score. Just keep racking up the points, keep extending the lead. Play was held up.
Slowing it down.
They could use their last timeout.
And USA almost turned that over. If O'Neal can pick it up, they'll keep their streak going. He does not. And that, the first USA turnover. And Japan hopes that opens the floodgates.
Well, nervous times at the end of every quarter. It's Japan who fluffed their lines at the end of number 1 and number 2. USA who've done it here in number 3. If you're going to commit a turnover, then the best time to do it is when you're 7 points up with barely a quarter to go.
It also doesn't hurt if you only have 22 seconds in the quarter, so you get a 3-minute break to change momentum.
Coaching timeout called nevertheless. Just to make sure that Japan, any momentum they had from that turnover is going to fizzle out a little bit.
Choking on my own words.
Well, Japan have been the ones choking thus far. We hope that USA don't choke when they are that close to the finish line to a place in the final.
And that's why we're going to see Newby and Melton out here. If you look as far as just maintaining possession, this is the line to go with.
Newby 2.0, Melton likewise. So going with a couple of deuces.
And both chucks, both captains on the floor.
There we go. A pair of deuces and a pair of chucks.
Oh, USA in trouble. Maybe almost in the same situation as Japan there. As Aoki's chair gets turned, I thought he might not have a chance to score that try.
Couple of seconds to go, and it is thrown forward with not much intent, and the gap is now 7. Extended it. 43-36 USA lead. They are 8 minutes away from a spot in the final of the 2022 Wheelchair Rugby World Championship. They have a timeout left as well.
And if so, that would be the match, the rematch of the Rio Paralympic gold medal, which went to overtime. Great game. Australia won that one.
Nearly there. 7 points clear. A slight glimmer of hope for Japan in that they finally caused a turnover towards the end of that third quarter. USA been absolutely perfect up until then, and I think there's always a slip amongst friends, so we will allow them that one.
Yeah, Japan actually net 0 with one turnover for the good and one for the bad in their case. But certainly better than 4 per quarter.
Statistics coming up now. As we see Japan in a huddle. As you say, the net 1, but overall the amount of turnovers that they've committed, 9 today. Which episode of Friends is Sarah Adam going to be watching tonight? The one where Japan turn it over 9 times, or turn it over 8 times in the first half? I'm sure she could watch that one again and again and again. She's been watching it from the sidelines today.
Maybe in her spare time she writes fan fiction. She'll write her own
Fan
episode
fiction
with that.
of Friends, there we go.
The one where USA makes the gold medal final.
Yeah. The one where Chuck Aoki dominates. 27 tries, 10 pass assists, 4 steals.
Yeah, those numbers are staggering. I mean, he's really doing everything. I mean, clearly the low pointers are doing a great job out there. Wheeler is an excellent number 2. But
is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Hashimoto, the future of Japanese wheelchair rugby. And for him, the future is now, and the future is what can you do over the next 8 minutes? He's out there with his mentor, Shinichi Shimakawa, master and student, the number 13 and number 32. The number 32 to the left of your screen being locked up by a pair of Joshes, O'Neill and Wheeler. So Japan at least have the inbound, at least they have possession. 7 points behind. What can they do over the next 8 minutes?
well, they need to get one more try than the U.S. pretty much every minute.
Exactly, it's that. They need to turn over a minute.
And putting it like that, I don't know how you do that. I mean, I can see a run of a couple. I can see outscoring your opponent by 3 or 4 in a quarter, but an extra try a minute compared to your opponent, that's a lot.
Yes, you can do it over a couple of minutes. Denmark were 3 behind with 3 minutes to go, and I said, well, they need a turnover, 1 turnover a minute, and they got 2 in the space of about 30 seconds, where Riley Batt suddenly fluffed his lines, but Chris Bond managed to be the calming captain's influence on the team.
Colombia started off winning the tip and went down 0-3. So they had 3 turnovers right off the top and came back and won it. Wow. Shimakawa came in there with some force, and USA able to stop that. A lot of times you can see a guy break through there with enough momentum.
Shin came in with such momentum that he needs an equipment change. As we look at the very fresh-faced Hashimoto.
Just can't seem to stop Aoki. I'm glad he's going to be on my team.
Indeed. Yes, you're not being suddenly lacking in impartiality in the commentary box, but you're referring to the Detroit Wheelchair Rugby Club. You can look at him and go, yep, when's the next local tournament?
I can use one finger to point to why I won't play very much this year.
You'll be the Sarah Adam on the sidelines writing the fan fiction.
The one where Dave got to play.
That's the one.
O'Neill going deep. Changes his mind.
Beautiful over the top. 26-yard touchdown pass.
Once again, try number 5.
28th try.
And there is the Tom Petty that we were calling for earlier.
Japan not touching the ball, trying to get a little bit of extra time on the clock because it doesn't start until you touch it.
All those little things can come to bear on the final score. They're within 6. Ooh, doesn't go out of bounds there.
Aoki finally struggling back there. Japan's defense working this time around. If they went with they have a significant lineup change. Kurahashi making a difference in there on defense.
Yes, Kei Kurahashi allows her team to play 8.5. USA getting some drinks on board. 6 minutes to go in this semi-final. The winners will play Australia. The losers go into the bronze medal match.
Yoramatsu is already on Aoki. He's even got the equipment guy, Chuck French, wrapped up in his picker there for a second.
Lots of mini battles going on. Pudabar, who has come on, goes all the way back. And then gets a clean pair of wheels almost over the halfway line. Well, the Japanese skipper's down once again.
I don't think he has any argument there. I thought he went up on his own player's chair. The referee talking to Aoki. Maybe we can see that one again, see what happened. Aoki backed up a little bit. I don't know that I would say that he was elbowed, though.
If he backed up
But he got a little
bit.
warning. And you saw a little handshake there. It's like, no harm, no foul. Nobody was trying to hurt anybody.
No. Not the outcome that the Japanese captain was looking for.
Great play there by the youngster Hashimoto. You know, they don't have Ike running that offense because they want him down in the middle. He's very easy to pass to. And you watch in this situation as Hashimoto goes to the left and the very tall Ike receiving it.
Coach's timeout called.
By USA.
6 minutes, 6-point deficit. Or a 6-point lead for the USA. Coach Delagrave giving out a few last-minute words of advice. I'm sure they'll be holding up some play boards as well as we get deeper into this final quarter.
Only 6, but USA has the ball. Only 6.
6 plus possession.
Pudabar not worried about the clock. Scores that one quickly.
Nothing trumps points on the board.
Not even equipment timeouts.
They're trying their best on that one.
They don't give out medals for that, although those equipment people deserve one.
They do. There's plenty of mechanics out there who, yes, deserve a medal. The one who got Jonathan Hivernat back in his chair during the group match, France's group match against Team GB.
I credit him with that win, right?
They do, yes. It was, that was a clean pair of wheels. Hashimoto deciding not to hang around.
Certainly didn't want to get it hung up on the picker for that.
Give and go just about. Give, go, stay within the confines of the court.
Still yet to pass. Aoki takes it all the way.
He's already on a double-double because he's got 12 pass assists and 29 tries now. 6 more steals and he can go for a triple-double, but I think he'll quite happily take the win. They're scoring quickly, but they're not provoking turnovers.
Yeah, playing much better rugby for sure is Japan. But I think it's a little too late.
It's taken too long to come. If we can have 6 or 7 quarters, then maybe it would be game on. Skipper onto the sidelines. It's Ikizaki who's replaced him as the high pointer. Pudabar this way and that. Ikizaki keeping an eye on Aoki, and that means that Pudabar's going to part the Red Sea.
Well done.
How about that for accuracy? Hashimoto needs to get somewhere else, but actually they've been joined there. Hashimoto will indeed get it out the back of the key.
Probably didn't even have to ask us.
Well, we've just been asked for the player of the match, and we won't divulge who it is. That will be part of the Grundfos player of the match presentations in just over 4 minutes' time. But I think the director there was trying to give away a little hint as to who it might be. Well, whisper it quietly, but there's been yet another turnover.
And it wasn't my fault that time.
It wasn't, but Aoki the one to pick it up.
He's just been everywhere in this game.
The ubiquitous Chuck Aoki, 31 years old, already with a string of medals to his name. World Championship gold 12 years ago, the last time that USA won in Vancouver. A couple of bronzes since then, a couple of silvers and a bronze of the Paralympic variety. And he's only 31 years old. And he plays for Detroit.
Newly.
Oh, right, he hasn't played yet?
In fact, he's been to one practice, and I have not been to any because I've been
Otherwise
wandering
engaged.
around Europe, commentating.
Ikizaki over the top to Hashimoto.
I see the writing on the wall.
As I said before, those that can do, those that can't coach, and those that can't even do that commentate.
There's a place for everyone, and
I finally found mine. Third rung of the ladder. That's fine by me. Particularly when you get such high quality to commentate on, and we've had some absolutely incredible matches. This is the 42nd match.
especially today. Both the early games on the other court, you know, they're only playing for 11th and 9th. I say only, but they were great matches. Especially the Colombia-Germany, back and forth. Colombia ends up the victor there.
Colombia finishing 9th in this tournament, Germany 10th.
Brazil won their first game in their very first World Championship.
So they managed to squeeze into 11th, leaving Switzerland in 12th.
It's hard to be the team that didn't win any games in a 12-team tournament. But there's often one. Switzerland actually ranked 13th coming into this tournament.
Yes, Sweden had jumped ahead of them.
Obviously, when the teams were chosen, those rankings were very different. Even the top teams, their rankings have changed over the past year based on other competitions they've been in. Canada Cup, for example. Newby on one corner, Melton on the other. USA in the 3-2-2-1.
Nakamachi reversing over the line. Japan trying to maintain some sort of pressure here, but 6 tries in 138 seconds is a big ask. Particularly with a 3-on-4.
And again, this is USA's possession offense. This is the offense they put in when they want to try and make sure that there are no turnovers.
That man Aoki once again weaves his way over, stops.
Chuck Melton trying to get Ike out, but it's Shimakawa who forces Aoki across the line.
Otherwise, it could have been 4-on-2. Either way, 7-try lead with 2 minutes to go. Japan need to score quickly, instill some sort of panic somehow into USA. But based on the way they've been playing for the last 30 minutes, that is not going to happen.
No, Japan's not having to struggle as much to get across half and get it to the try line, but they're just trading goals at this point.
They need to struggle a bit more and try to create the timeouts, the turnovers, but that is just not happening. Change of equipment required in back play, so.
Eric Newby stuck up on the front of the chair of Haga. Calls for equipment. You can see there he, hey, I can't do anything here, please help me.
Spinning his wheels. 91 seconds to go. Aoki's going to quite happy to hold on to it for a while, I think. Give him go. He'll go back and get it, because that's how he is. 5 seconds on the possession clock, so they're not going to score here unless They were still incredibly close, even on an absolute Hail Mary.
Yeah, that's correct. The chips have really fallen their way.
Yes, they need to maintain a little bit of fortune and carry that over into tomorrow's final, where they will be facing Australia.
And they will truly have to play their best rugby there. Australia up to the task.
Certainly proved that against Denmark today for, let's say, 29 of 32 minutes. Got a little bit nervous towards the end.
Or Australia wanting to get back at Denmark for beating them in the Paralympics in Japan.
Tried in the opening match, caught them cold. Now, if it's a direct line towards the try line and no deviation, which it is from Newby, then the try is allowed to count, and then afterwards we will have the sideliners coming on and flipping Shin back up. No need for a stoppage in play.
I wonder what the towel is for. They put it over his shoulders, but they never like used it to help him up or dry him off. But they've done that several times. It's interesting.
Ceremony. Japanese bathing houses. Shin shows no ill effects from that trip to the deck. Gets it back to within 5, but time is running out for Japan. The reigning champions not going to be able to defend their title, the title that they won in Homebush, Sydney, 4 years ago.
Might just be an axle popped out. Oh no, it's a knee strap on Melton.
One of the pair of chucks out there. And one of 4 from the Spartans Club.
Also being attended to by a Chuck French.
There we go. Triple chuck.
And Fredette chucks it to Melton.
Around 10 seconds to go. How good would it be if Chuck Aoki could roll over the try line, but he doesn't even want to do that. Maybe he does. I thought he was just going to spike the ball NFL style, but yes! Let us make sure that the last try of this encounter is scored by Chuck Aoki. Japan saving a little bit of face, but it won't affect the final result. The hooter goes, and USA have defeated Japan, a historic win for them, 57-52, and they are into the final of the 2022 Wheelchair Rugby World Cup. First time they've been in the final since 2010. That was the last time they won the tournament. A good omen for them.
Japan never gave up. You know, obviously the first 2 quarters they would have liked to have gone differently, but they're in much better position.
The first player of the match is American number 5, Chuck Aoki.
Player of the match, sponsored by Grundfos. I think he was simply the best today. 33 tries, 13 pass assists and a screen assist, and 4 steals.
Congratulations, Chuck.
Yeah, he was definitely unequaled out there on the court. And that is why he's the man for USA. And the captain as well, leader on the floor and off.
Someone's going to have to go toe-to-toe with Riley Batt tomorrow in the final.
Well, when it was just Riley Batt, they weren't winning. You can't discount Bond in that conversation, right?
Exactly.
Because
in the other semi-final, he was the player of the match.
Yeah,
Chris Bond was outstanding.
They're quite a tandem, and as long as they have good low point play, they certainly could win that.
thinking about the final just yet. We are enjoying the semi-final. Victory for USA, 57-52. Japan, the reigning champions, out of the tournament. They will still play on Sunday. They will take on the host nation, Denmark, whom they played in the group stages and had a very nervous time against them. Ended up winning 62-61 in overtime. So that could be a fun match to watch tomorrow. It certainly will be. But at the moment, it's all about USA. Coach Delagrave, all smiles.
You know, their confidence never let up. They had some tough games in the pool rounds, but they always felt like they could do it. They knew, you know, when they lost that game to France, of course they wanted to win it, but there's plenty of room in this tournament to end up on top with a loss, and now it's their chance.